Hi class, welcome to IS 371. I'm Professor Fahmi Jalani. Today we'll be taking a look at chapter 11 on data classification and handling policy, risk and management. So we take a look at the data classification and handling policy, business risk related to IS, the RCSA risk and control self-assessment, self-assessment policy, QC and QA, quality assurance and quality control. So in data classification policy, apologize for that. You need to label the data and things like when it's classified and labeled. So you need to identify how valuable is the data. People can find it easily, handle it, not to overclassify it, simplify it, and clearly. So you need to classify the most important data, storing it, okay, and don't forget to put a stamp and time date. So why is there a need to classify data? This basically to protect information retained and to recover, okay, things like security classification, authentication, authorization, retention policy, okay, also to delete data that's not used, and also how to recover it. In terms of legal classification, university like Stanford has also adopted the scheme, in this case prohibiting restriction, confidential and unrestricted information. On top of that, also we have military classification. This is according to the National Security Executive Order 12356. We have top secret, secret and confidential. In this case, the data could cause grave damage, okay, serious damage, okay, expected cause damage. Okay. Other than that, also we have unclassified data, sensitive, unclassified, according to the Freedom Act, and also data available for public, which is unclassified. Last but not least, also they have one or three program is ISOO, or Information Security Oversight Office. This automatically remove the classification after 25 years, declassification of record, okay, and also disqualification as requested. In terms of business classification scheme, we have high sensitive, internal and public, which is critical data, okay, important but not vital, data not related, and also no negative impact. In developing a customized classification scheme, okay, you need to know the number of different classification level, okay, define it, a name, align it, okay, according to requirement, audit and reporting requirement. Classifying your data has two parts. In this case, data ownership and security control. One, accountability for data handling, Owners should be usually senior members, senior management, accountability, okay? Authentication method, encryption, monitoring and logging. Also, in case of security control, we have high sensitivity, sensitive internal public in terms of authentication here. The table we have two-factor monitoring, okay, real-time alert, logging, details, okay, things like ID, password, okay, forensic use. Moving along, we have data handling policy. This is basically define requirements based on the needs to use information, handling policy, protect data when it's moved. Okay, so an owner need to know both business and regulatory requirement. The need for policy governing data and the rest in transit. So there's law and law requiring private data is not no breaches. So take a look at the scenario here. We have a encryption attack scenario. So here from attack scenario, application layer, database layer to key management. Okay, so the hacker requests SQL injection, okay, and formats the database, okay, encrypted key request and return. So it's returned, okay. So they managed to get the social security number, and also in this case this is breach. So in the event it's not breach, okay, right, hacker request FTP under the OS layer, so it returns a jargon, right? So why there is a need for policy governing data and the rest and in transit? So things like encryption security policy and also reason of for lack compliance, okay. So it must be separate from the encrypted data, okay. It's a secure process. And administrator at OS level, not at database level. Confusion of law, cost to comply, okay, lack of standard. In terms of policy standard procedure covering the data lifecycle, we have creation, access, use, and transmission. Okay, in creating of classification, okay, accessing, security policy, the use to protect, and labeling, transmission. Okay. Also, we have storage, physical transport, and destruction. It must be approved, okay, and also data need to be disposed properly. Identifying business risk related to IS. So you need to identify, consider what's the value of data, the risk, the impact, okay, quality assurance, type of risk, operation, physical environment, technical hazard, and financial. Okay, any event, okay, disrupt, undertakes daily interruption. Okay, is there any physical threats, for example, fire data center, no power, for example, storm, earthquake, natural disaster, okay, hazard, and also in terms of the company went bankrupt. Data classification of volume versus time to recover. Let's take a look at a graph here. We have time to recover versus volume data recovered. So tier 1 to tier 3 First, you need to mirror the data, means you need to duplicate the data if you have backup, combination offsite solution as a virtual tape. In this case, your backup tape, okay, and data archive offsite or backup tape. Okay. So in total, take about 48 hours or 30 days. Development and need for policy based on risk management. Some benefit, identify cost and benefit, okay. Alternative thinking, okay. Analytic rigor, okay, in terms of consideration of risk. So we have a loop of risk management continuous improvement model. Okay. You need to prioritize risk, okay, align risk, okay, identify risk, monitor it, okay. Should is there any new risk? Okay, assess the measurement. Yeah. Next, we have RISA or RCSA, or Risk Control Assessment. Take note of the major risks, okay, which risk limit ability of organization implementation plans and all of monitoring risk. Some calculation for risk assessment policy, risk exposure between a risk of prioritization of risk, threats and vulnerability. So risk exposure is equal to likelihood of event will occur times impact of event occur. So we have risk exposure plus business impact, BIA, is equal to direct impact. Okay, and prioritize the least risk to limit vulnerability. Risk management strategy, okay, you have risk avoidance, acceptance, transfer and mitigation. So not engaging certain activity can occur risk, for example, not involving information security, accepting risk, okay, sharing risk and also reducing it. Mentioned earlier, risk management strategy, okay. So there is a need to promote the policy in terms of threat and vulnerability assessment, penetration tests, monitoring system, vendors, patch, oversight, okay, and awareness. Next, we take a look at vulnerable assessment. There are tools, for example, assessment tools, techniques, security policy. Okay, this is basically to perform vulnerable assessment. Okay, you need to scan application, network, ports. Okay, analyze, report, and generate report. So we have once the system is breached, we have a vulnerable window. This is basically when it's quickly discovered and also deploy. So item fix, for example, common scan and map, Nessus, OAuth, ZAP, patch management, venting, prioritizing, implementing, and post. In terms of quality assurance versus quality control, okay, quality assurance give confidence, right? And quality control, quality response, okay, things like that. Best practices of data classification and risk management policy. So try to keep the classification simple, easily understood, name the levels. So we need to highlight the most vulnerable and classify which is highest risk. So that's pretty much it for the class today. If you have any question, feel free to email. Thanks, bye.